Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday. This is Josie here from APSCo. Hope you're all, fingers crossed, keeping well, and life is good for us all in these very, very strange times. Thanks ever so much for registering for this afternoon's webinar. We've actually got lots and lots of you registered, and I know why, because Lisa Jones of Barclay Jones always gives fantastic presentations. And today, with the intriguing time sales and marketing, this is your time to pick, not stop, I think has actually intrigued a lot of you as well as myself. So I'm looking forward to listening to it. Just obviously today is one of many webinars we're running at the moment, and keep your eye on the APSCo website, as we've got about 3 to 4 webinars each week that you can actually take part in. Also, Anne Swain sends out a bite-sized bulletin every day with lots of valuable information and details of all the webinars that are going on in the week, the current week. So if you don't get the bite-sized bulletin, feel free to contact us, any of your APSCo colleagues that you know, or contact myself, and I'll make sure that you're actually set up to receive all the information you need to find out everything that's happening during, as I say, these very strange times. So that's me. I'm going to hand you over to Lisa, and as I said before, I know it's going to be a great presentation, so enjoy it. Lisa will ask you to use your chat during the actual webinar to ask any questions while she goes along. Lisa, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you very much, and I'm hoping you're all okay. From Barclay Jones, some of you may have seen me at certain APSCo events, or maybe even at the APSCo Awards, or maybe even at the APSCo Ball, which I'm a bit gutted about because I was due to come this June, but I understand that it's going to be happening around October. So the sequins are clearly going to be coming out, but we're known for doing 3 things, and it's all about recruitment, whether it be recruiter training to make them more effective, recruitment tech to make your recruiters more effective, or recruitment marketing to make your recruiters more effective. That's what we're interested in. Now, what I'm also interested in as well is this video. Now, give me a shout out, go into your chat facility, please, and let me know whether or not you've got a dog. This is quite an important question because it actually fuels some of the things that we're going to talk about today. But I've got a dog, and I'm regularly, and I don't use Facebook for much. I used to be on it quite avidly, but these days I tend to look at it from a whippets perspective. Whippets, triathlons, and cake. That's what I'm really, really interested in. This particular video literally had me howling, but actually the reason I'm going to show this video is because I think it's got something to say about the recruitment industry, where it might be right now, and potentially what we need to think about. And I want you to focus on the little puppy that is probably a bit overdressed, and this one here as well. And obviously it's a whippet, which is why I'm interested in this. So just give me a second. Down the club one night on Tuesday, got your girl in a pretty shake Tuesday, club going down on Tuesday, got your girl in a pretty shake Tuesday, club going down on Tuesday. But I'm interested in this video because it's showing, maybe this is a metaphor too far, a struggling recruiter climbing its way up the fence, having a freaking nightmare. We've just gotten over 2008. It feels like we've not talked about it in a while. And now all of a sudden, and I'm not trying to make light of this disastrous situation that we're in, but again, if you work with me, you know that I am firm but fair, but I also have a sense of humor, and I'm also very focused on the positive. So hands up if you've been through a previous recession as a recruiter in the past, and you'll know if you have, it was a bloody nightmare. It was tough. I was an IT director for a recruitment firm back in 2008, and as was my husband. And within a year, we both lost our jobs just after we'd sunk our fortune into a very nice house. And on the back of that, I also had a 6-month-old baby and realized that the world had basically swallowed me whole. Now, obviously, times have moved on. The business did very, very well. But as with everything with coronavirus, we're all having a bit of a nightmare. But I'm focused on that whippet, that white whippet in the background. I want to be that whippet. I don't want to be clawing my way up over a fence, not using my strength and agility. I want to be looking at everyone else going, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and then I'm going to go for it. So I want you to be thinking about that metaphor, because that's what I'm focused on with my clients right now, is what can we actually do as sales and marketing to keep us focused on the fact that we will come out of this. Now, you don't need me to pep talk you on this, but it doesn't take an Einstein to figure out if you spend all day on Facebook and Twitter, you'll probably end up chucking yourself off a cliff. So I focus on the daily briefings, which have become quite funny now, and I focus on the morning news, and then I get on with what I've always wanted to do with my business. And that's the key. So we're going to focus on your goals today. We're going to focus on working from home. We're going to focus on not sadomasochism. We're going to focus on sales and marketing and what I call the 3 C's. And I want you to create your action plan on this. Now, Josie, I thought the questions would be coming through to me, but it doesn't look like they are. So don't worry. If you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, pop them into your chat, and Josie will open up the comms to me via her if needed, and we can crack on. What I would say to you, though, is Joe Wicks, God, some people had heard from him before, but my God, if you don't know who he is, then you have been living under a rock. He's getting our kids sweaty every morning at 9 a.m. But prior to that, he was getting some of us actually sweaty as well beforehand. So high intensity interval training isn't something that's reserved for our kids at 9 a.m. If you're into the gym like I am, you'll know that it's been around for a few years. In fact, we are big proponents of HIIT, high intensity interval training at Barclay Jones. It's something that we do with our clients, as in, let's not spend 6 hours trying to gen up on something and not have the ability to live at the end, or want to make a call, or our emails have been, coming through thick and fast. I'm fixated on 5 to 15 minutes worth of training to attack certain key muscle groups in the recruitment process. So it's worth thinking about. So I want you to look throughout this webinar for the opportunity to ask me for my HIIT, because we've got loads of them. Also, what I want you to think about as well is we do actually have a HIIT program, a training program, a training website devoted at the moment to Adapt, which in itself, trust me, I was the one that saw the irony of Bullhorn buying Adapt just as we'd launched the training program for it last year. But at the same time, we know that there are lots of recruiters out there who use Adapt, who were potentially going to migrate, but now are going, what else is going to go wrong? So what we've decided to do, if you use Adapt, is we're actually going to open up our paid for system for free to everyone that uses Adapt. And we are currently working on Bullhorn. And as soon as that goes live, if we're still in the C zone, then we will be looking to register people on that for free as well. So if you use either Bullhorn or Adapt, or are planning on using one of those two systems, could you please put those words into your chat facility? And as soon as we are live for the free versions of all of this, which will be the full suite, by the way, we're not just giving away 2 or 3 videos. We've got our entire training suite of both Bullhorn and Adapt going live for free. It's got badges, it's got league tables, it's really good fun as well. Put Bullhorn and Adapt into your chat facility, please, and I will send you a link to this stuff once it's ready, and you can use it with my blessing. The one thing I learned from the previous recession is I'm pretty useless as an individual. If it all went to shit, excuse my language, what would I actually have to give away? I've got friends who are teachers, who bake, who are educators, who are nurses. Their skills are absolutely fabulous, and they are so useful right now. I don't know about you guys and gals. I sat here a couple of weeks ago saying to myself, what can I do? And obviously I've registered for the NHS volunteer corps. I'm doing my best with my kids, but oh my God, is all I'll say to that. And I said to myself, well, all I've got for free, all I can give away is my time. But for obvious reasons, that's difficult when I've got 2 kids and a business to run and all of that lovely stuff and trying to educate them. But then I looked at this product that I've spent a year building and said to my business partner, let's give it away. So we've just got to do a bit of work to get it ready to give away. But if you do use the Adapt or Bullhorn, you can have it with our blessing for as long as I can give it to you for free. We are going live with job adverts in a couple of weeks, everyone. And I've just recorded the videos for those myself. So if you are in the market in the next 2 to 3 months to attract candidates and clients, then obviously I want to hear from you. So put job adverts into your chat. And as soon as that stuff has gone live, then again, I'm going to send you a link. So I'm hoping that's going to be good for you as well. because if I can do anything, is learn from the previous recession and say, right, what have I actually got that I can give away this time? And it's definitely the one thing that I own, which is HIT. You can have it with my blessing. Right then, everybody. So think high intensity interval training throughout this webinar, please, because if we're going to do anything while we're working from home, we're going to have to be really focused. Although there's some interesting stuff out there about working from home. We're going to talk about that in a sec. But what I want to know from you is, and I want you to stay positive, what do you actually want to fix during this lockdown, this downturn? The word down is in itself crap. But say to yourself, and I said this to my kids around the dining room table at the weekend, I want you to imagine that your house and your equipment and your data and your personality and your food and your dog and whatever you can see around you right now is marooned on a desert island. And you're okay, you're healthy and you're fine, and you've got access to the web and you've got your phone. And in 3 months' time, and I'm, by the way, remote control, I have no flipping idea when this is over, but in 3 months' time, a ship is going to come along and it's going to come and say, Jane, Justin, John, I'm here to take you away, but only if you tell me what you've done to improve yourself. Now, I know that sounds a little bit fluffy, even saying it out loud, but someone just popped the word triathlon up there. Me too. I was going to do my first full triathlon in June at the World Series and clearly I'd have won, she says. But I've had to put that on hold. But instead this morning, I went out for a 30k bike ride. My shoulders are killing me because I was gripping my handlebars a bit too long going along the dual carriageway in Leeds. But I want you to ask yourself, if you were rescued in 3 months' time or 2 weeks' time or 1 month's time, let's be positive, how would you run your desk better? You've really got to ask it through yourself. I class this as a pit stop. And if you're into the Grand Prix like I am, you'll know that Lewis Hamilton doesn't get out of his car and throw the keys to someone and go for a milkshake or whatever. He sits in the car and he is literally planning his next lap and what he's going to be doing. This isn't about slowing down. I mean, you might not have much choice if, like me, you've got a couple of kids at home and my God, you don't want them to turn illiterate overnight, although the little buggers have got a way of acting like they're going to. I think they're going to be okay. But what do you actually want to fix? So we've got people coming through saying the company website during this period, cleaning up your data. You get stickers for this, by the way, everybody. We've got other answers coming in, like just improving job adverts. Someone's just said that they've been alcohol free since the 1st of Jan. Dario, if you can keep that going, you're a stronger man than me. We've got people working from home with kids. Bless your hearts. I've got some tips for you in a minute. That in itself, Josie, could be a whole nother webinar. Someone else has got a whippet. Matthew, send me a picture. Dying to see them. If you go to our website, you'll see Leia and Solo, because I'm a bit of a Star Wars freak. So yes, she is definitely on the list of fast whippets. So lots of Adapt users, lots of Bullhorn users, lots of whippet owners, lots of triathletes, lots of wine, lots of people wanting to take advantage of this time off, because oh my God, if you don't, you will never get this time back. Stay positive. So working from home, not WTF. Working from home is an interesting concept for all of us. Prior to March this year, a lot of stats to confirm that working from home is a bloody good thing. But actually, most of us are not geared up for it. We might have beautiful looking desks. I've checked all your Twitter accounts and your Instagrams. Don't your desks look gorgeous? There's a reason I'm not taking a photograph of mine. It's because I'm a creative and it's a chaotic mess. In fact, the room behind me has got weights and a sleeping whippet and half a ton of stuff that I've not put away and a lot of gin bottles. But actually, the data tells us prior to this nightmare that people prefer working from home. They are more productive. They work longer hours. They stay with their organization for a longer period. Now, again, furlough and all the other crap going on puts a lot of this in bad taste. There's nothing I can do about it. But actually, we are going to come out of this soon and the world will have changed. I am convinced of it. But there is a catch. And this might be you. You might be a manager who is not ready to lead your team remotely. You do not have the skill set to do that. You're great at going into the office and giving them all chocolate and checking them and telling them to get on the effing phone. And I'm saying this because I've been in recruitment a while and I know that is a method. But I think it's really around how are you leading? Now, some tips for you, and I wrote a blog for a recruitment client a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to sort of go into that in my mindset, but they wanted me to write some tips for how managers can remotely manage. and often you're not used to doing that. I would say this: daily video scrums. Now, if you hadn't heard of Zoom, and I don't want to be talking about it as if you haven't heard about it, everyone's heard about it. But did you know you can change your background so you look like you sat on a beach? If you want to know about how to do that, by the way, just put the word Zoom into your chat. I'll do a quick video for you on how you put a background on, whether it be video and or funky images, just to lighten things up. So I've got a couple of people wanting the words, putting the word Zoom in. I'm really happy to do that. I had some fun with that the other day. The other thing I would suggest you do from a Scrum perspective is give awards for the best fancy dress once a week or something like that, because it gets people really, really engaged. But Zoom is a very crafty bit of kit. It's free of charge. Most of us that were on GoToWebinar prior to the C word have gone over to Zoom and cancelled their 70 quid a month subscription, which is very nice. I've even given my kids the Zoom login as well, because, you know, why not, she says. But think scrums. Right, everybody, what are we going to do today? What are we going to get over the line? How many calls are we going to make? Who are we going to speak to that we haven't spoken to before? How many records are we going to get cleaned up? Think about this stuff. Managers need to lead through this time. Otherwise, people at home are going to get lonely, find it difficult to concentrate, and it's going to take them time to get up and running. The stats that we were looking at on the previous slide, excuse me, are often aimed at businesses that are totally geared up for this. And maybe some of you are not. So that's really, really worth you thinking about that and getting yourself really geared up to come out of this, because people are going to get used to not traveling. They're going to get used to saving a fortune on their travel, around £4,000 a year. So it's really worth you seeing that. So have a think about that. This is really key as well. It's really easy for us to go straight into work zone. And this is an obvious piece of advice, but try and do what I call a segue. Think about asking people what they've been up to. And again, yeah, they might not have been up to much, but what box sets are they watching? What are they reading, etc. So that's worth thinking about. But obviously, these stats are irrelevant, because post-corona, who the hell knows what's going to happen? You have to come up with your own ideas for this, ladies and gents. Now, put the word kids in. If you want, I can't send you gin. If you want a blog that I found recently, and a number of other blogs that I found, by the way, because I am lucky to be working from home in the office upstairs today while my husband has got the kids downstairs. That's all I'm going to say. My voice is going, and it's not because I've got the C virus, it's because I've been yelling for the last 4 days. But I tell you the ultimate trick that I learned yesterday from my husband, who is a bit of a mad scientist, he's the Barclay and the Barclay Jones, is that we said to the kids, and we've got like a timetable, we have our breakfast in the morning, which I never get to do. I never get to do that. So I'm finally getting to do stuff that I've always wanted to do. So I'll go on my bike ride to clear my head. Breakfast with the kids in the morning, we get our little grid out and they write on their grid what they're going to do that day. They write it themselves. That's a trainer's trick, by the way. Once they write it themselves, they're more likely to do it. The next thing that I'm interested in is making sure they've got breaks. We've got David Walliams at 11. Or I don't know if you know this, but the space station, the International Space Station, are doing story time as well. And you can watch it on YouTube, and these astronauts are there doing stuff. It's blowing my mind what's available. You've got Steve Bagshaw doing geography on a Wednesday morning, blah, 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 blah. You've got lunch and all that lovely stuff. But then what you've got is the final hack, which is, kids, when you're finished, we're emailing your homework to your teacher. And we didn't bother thinking about that to begin with. And the teachers don't give us stuff. They're not looking at it, but the kids don't know that. And as soon as we started doing that, they cracked on. And yesterday we did everything in a record time, which meant I could have my gin and tonic a lot earlier than normal. So I'll send you the stuff that I know about the kids, stir crazy kids. There's apps, there's all sorts of stuff. I'll send that through to the people that have got the word kids on, because boy, do I feel for you. The big difference between the recession that we went through in 2008 and the one that we're in now is, at least we've got flipping furlough. We did not have that time around. We just had chaos, crashing, and people going under. I'm not suggesting that's not going to happen this time, but my God, there's a bit of a safety blanket for some of you out there. So that's absolutely, I've got here Charlotte saying, kids, please help. Josie, there's a whole webinar just in this, and trust me, I'm really happy to run it if someone wants to join me on that, and I'm being deadly serious. I want you though. Because kids doesn't begin with a C. They can sort themselves out. They're going to be wiping the floor with us in 10 years' time. But we do need to focus on our business, and we do need to focus on our desks, and we do need to focus on our data. So I'm getting all serious now. But we can't take our feet off the pedal, and trust me, it is hard. I absolutely get that, because most of us wanted to crawl into a cave last week. I think most of us are surfacing now. I spoke to one of my clients this morning that we've done some website work for, because I'm a big fan of your website is your virtual recruiter. So do not let that mothball itself. Get your marketeers working on your website to be ready to receive and actively haul people in. You've got to be fixated on your 4 C's. Furloughing people is not an excuse to take your business down. So I spoke to someone earlier and they said they're going to use this time to get ahead of the chaos. So it's really worth you thinking about what it is you need to do with your business to come out stronger than when you went in. This is absolutely an opportunity. And if you did this in 2008, you know exactly what I mean. So let's focus on the 3 C's, because they do lead to cash. They might not lead to cash straight away, but oh my God, when that upturn comes, you have to be that whippet we saw on Facebook. Don't be that dog crawling up the fence like an idiot. It takes too long. I want to know what CRM system you use. Now, some of you said Adapt Stroke Bullhorn already. If you've already done that, don't worry about doing it again. But what other CRM are out there? I'm interested to know what you're all doing right now, because it might be I need to start building training materials for that. You just never know. But if you have been on any of my webinars in a previous life, you'll know that I'm a bit of a CRM first girl. My background in IT and recruitment and training and data tells me that with all of this, all you have is your data, God forbid. In fact, 72% of the candidates placed last year were already on your CRM before you spent 13 hours a week per person looking for them on other systems. What a stupid waste of time. So it's really worth you thinking about how you can start fixating on CRM first as a result of what's happening to the economy right now, because your data, dare I say this out loud, is your most important asset. If you're a recruiter, it absolutely is your most important asset right now. So I want to answer another question for me. Genuinely, ladies and gents, you're working from home, you're sat at your desk, and you say to me, Lisa, I can only work X amount of candidates at once. You might have 5,000, but how many can you genuinely work at once? Could you please pop that answer into the box? Let me do a quick poll. Often I'm finding recruiters working thousands, working hundreds. It is not viable, and it isn't actually necessary. When you look at my dig up stupid model, thank you to Homer Simpson for this inspiration. When he was digging for gold and he kept digging down, and they said, where are you going? He says, I'm trying to get out. And he was just digging down. It's like, dig up, stupid. And I do this a lot on my webinars, which is this. Look at your data from yesterday. What are you doing to retain it? How are you staying focused on it? That's not thousands of bits of data. You might say the people that I've placed in the last 6 months, the clients I've invoiced in the last 2 years, I am going to get down and dirty with them. Marketeers in the room, you lovely chap and chapesses, what are you doing with that dirty data? Are you sending out persona-led campaigns to keep them focused? Your candidates and clients are terrified for a number of reasons. They're either on furlough, they're either overworked because they're in the sectors that are booming right now. Either way, get under their skin, stay under their skin, but don't expect your recruiters to be able to deal with every single bit of data on your system. And if you don't have a login to your CRM system, which in my experience is very common and not acceptable, you need to log in, get that login, get trained, understand your system, start extracting the data that your recruiters genuinely do not have time to tackle, and start waking it up in slices. Don't do thousands at once. Your recruiters will not be able to cope. And when it comes to what I call FOMO data, that's stuff that you've been collecting for years and is flipping useless, forget about it. Don't even worry about it. So that's really something for you to think about. Now, we put this webinar together very quickly, so I'm going to ask your forgiveness for this crap slide. It's a crap slide, everybody. Give it a score out of 10. That's a 1.5. There's no imagery there. This is just me brainstorming with my team. There's going to be even typos in here. Forgive me for this. I'm giving this away for you for free. And someone asked earlier on, do you get access to the slides? You can have 20 copies if you wish. So what I want you to do is hit your candidates. Now, we know about keep in touch, but again, ask yourself, how many can you genuinely work? Think about who needs a call and how often. When you're speaking to them, clean up your data. Find out if they've got a dog, because if 50% of your candidates have dogs, you should be sending them that flipping video I showed you at the beginning, because it's the way you're going to stay in their mind's eye and keep them happy. You want them to remember you in a positive light, not just, oh, bloody hell, I got a recruiter that's not making any money trying to place me in a job that I don't want. Clean up your data. You don't need to clean it all. Please don't do that. If you've got 100,000 records on your system and you can only work 100, clean up 200 and be done with it. And once you've exhausted that 100, move on to the next and get your marketeers to work with you on that. And don't fill out every field on your CRM. And if your IT department, if they still exist, can mask or hide some of the fields that just get in the way, do it. Cut deep into the system. Distill it. Come up with that 60% proof gin that we all know is going to make you a sure thing. That's what we're interested in. Think about marketing, sending out persona-led mail shots. So when I go in and do marketing mentoring, the first thing I look at is email marketing, because I know it can be the most effective channel. However, in most recruitment companies, it's the most ineffective. And the reason for that is we're blasting everyone with everything, as opposed to specific persona-led stuff. So candidates in certain markets, sending something out once a month about their market, about them. You could rebadge the content that you generate. So 5 ways a sales manager can lead their team from the front could also be badged as 5 ways a call center manager can lead from the front. These people are unlikely to cross paths. So think about persona-led mail shots. Less content, more marketing. What are they scared of? How can you help them? You know loads of stuff about your sector. Otherwise, how dare you say so in interviews and on your website? What do you actually have to offer? And if you genuinely know nothing about your sector, then keep watching this webinar, because you need to fix that. But also, what can you find online that isn't the same boring, crappy content, which is, let's learn how to tie our shoelaces. Yeah. Go for stuff that's a little bit beyond the standard advice. Try and give them something different. Equally, have you got an opportunity to turn on SurveyMonkey if you haven't already, and just start asking them some questions? Maybe the questions that I'm asking you right now. But what do they think is going to change post the coronavirus? What do they want to change themselves about their industry? Ask some questions that will pay you back massively. Get ready for the upturn, people. It will come. Don't be not ready. Don't be, I've already said Lewis Hamilton sat in his Formula One car with his foot hovered over, dare I say this, the accelerator, and everyone's doing their bit. You've got to be ready. Equally, what are you doing to your candidates to educate them on the job process, the application process, using video to interview? What content could you create right now that's going to pay you back in dividends, because the changes that you're experiencing in the industry are likely to be permanent? Why the hell would a client that gets used to interviewing via video go back to face-to-face if it proves to have worked? Why on earth would they do that? So don't just wait for this to wait for the industry to change and go back to the way it was. Assume this is how it's going to be, and clap your hands and say, right, what do I need to do with my marketing department to get my candidates not fearful and ready and accepting that this is the new norm? Don't lose people because of their lack of confidence in technology. Get it nailed. So, for example, the school that my kids go to is an outstanding school in every sense. However, I had a bit of a tete-a-tete with the headmaster yesterday about the fact they're not using video to promote healthy learning. They're just sending emails. And I said, look, the kids are scared. All they're seeing online at the moment are images of the news and stuff like that. I'd like them to see the faces of the teachers. And he said, well, we just didn't get round to training them before everybody went off. And I said, well, This stuff's been coming for a while. Can you not at least use video to train them? So could you prime and prep your candidates if they are still going for interview? And they should be, by the way. I've got clients right now who are still sending candidates for interview, who are still getting candidates accepting jobs, who are still getting clients offering roles. Yeah, it's not ideal. The invoices can't go out straight away, but don't lose hope on this. So think about how you are going to grab technology by the cojones and make it work for you. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. If you're a recruiter working from home right now, figure it out. Don't wait for your manager to call you. And if you're a manager, give people access to this stuff. And if you've got a laptop that's totally locked down, get your phone out. There's loads of ways that you can do this, because my kids are doing their homework right now using video. They're logging in with their mates, and it's just making life a bit easier for them. God forbid you don't get the chance to get your personality out. Get those dogs climbing fences, please. If TikTok has shown us anything, it's that actually the human race is freaking funny. So think about how you can be remembered and be helpful. Think about the advice that you could give to your candidates to help them gen up on their sector, to make them more necessary when they are ready to start applying for work again. Someone's just messaged me. This is good news. Just had a job offer for a candidate today. I'm sorry I'm doing this. Absolutely fabulous. And I'm sorry if that's sycophantic, but I've been in the industry a long time and I care very deeply about it. So let's carry on. You do need to be a security blanket. And anybody that thinks they're not capable of that, you've really got to think about the job that you do. You change lives. You don't just put people in new jobs. This isn't, again, sycophantic language. If you ever spoke to Anne Swain, she'd kick your butt if you didn't think that you're an important recruiter. So this is really important. Let's talk about the next C, because we're not talking about the C today. We're talking about candidates, clients, and colleagues. Again, think about video. Think about kit calls. Stop just picking up the phone and start turning on your webcam. Start seeing people's faces. Start engaging with them. Really engage. See the whites of their eyes. But I want you to start thinking about the companies that you are actually focused on. And this is some advice from a client of mine that I spoke to yesterday when I said I was going to run this webinar. And he said, see if you can make sure that the companies that you're going to spend your so precious time on, check them. If they are in mega trouble, you may need to make some decisions about whether or not you waste your time on them. You might have to be really hard here. You don't want to be accepting job offers from clients that actually are about to go down. Think about that. Ask your finance team to help you with this information. What can you also do with Loom? We'll have a talk about this in a second, and I've got a video that I can send you if you want it. Put the word Loom in and I'll send you a HIT, high intensity interval training session on Loom. It's a great bit of kit, and it will allow you to get candidates and clients to call you, and also for you to cement deals afterwards. Free bit of kit, outstandingly cool. Clean up your data. Again, not all of your data. Again, you've got to ask yourself, how many clients can you genuinely work? Cleaning up your entire database is not going to get you a golden sticker from the government. It's going to make the data scientists in the room very happy, but I don't think any of you really hire those people right now. So it's worth you thinking about the percentage of data that you need to keep clean so that your marketeers can tackle that pyramid that we looked at before, and you don't turn into Homer Simpson drowning in data and not being able to make your way out. Again, marketing, persona-led mail shots. Find out from your clients, what are they scared of? Again, could you send a survey to ask them that question? Get ready for that upturn. So if you've not come across Loom before, this is something I live with every day. I even get my kids using it for their homework. Could you open up a candidate or a client profile on LinkedIn, scroll up and down randomly while you're talking about them, and send them a link to that video? When people click on that video, you'll get a notification to say they've watched it. It's a fantastic bit of kit. It's free of charge to use. Could you be going onto the client's website, looking at the vacancies that are on that website right now, scrolling up and down those vacancies whilst you're showing your face and talking to the client? John, I can see this vacancy on your website. I've got 3 candidates on my database right now that I'd like to talk to you about. Just press reply to this email and I'll get on the phone to you straight away. Clients are people. They are just as scared as candidates, just as scared as you. You need to educate them that making a job offer is absolutely within their interest, because if they don't, and the candidate that they really need in their business, and they probably will still need when the C word has come and gone, that candidate could be on a 3-month notice period. And that client waiting a further 3 months beyond the downturn could put their business in jeopardy. So don't lose that client because they don't understand what great process looks like. And equally, again, what content is your marketing department creating to create confidence in technology, confidence in your business, confidence in the process? Then it could almost be business as usual. Just like we did for candidates, get your personality out and be fun, be remembered, yeah? Because clients are individual humans and not just an entity with a VAT number, they are going to be terrified. Their own job might be on the line. You need to talk to them about that, not just from an opportunity perspective, but what can you send them to show them that you know that they are in pain, but more importantly, for them to gen up, as well as candidates, for clients to gen up as well. Maybe they don't know enough about furlough. Could you find something to help them with that? Maybe they don't know enough about the sector and where it's going. Maybe they're not seeing enough good news. You need to be the person delivering that. And if you don't have time to do that right now, you're never going to have time. Get into the habit. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes a day. Be that security blanket. And think about as well, which sectors could you diversify into? I've got clients right now looking at which other sectors are going to be relevant for them. Nothing's permanent. If you're a clever recruiter, and most of the clients I work for are, they're looking at this right now. This could be your opportunity to get out of the sector that was maybe causing you pain in the first place and getting fully fledged into one that is desperate for great recruiters who know how to find great candidates. But if you're going to target certain clients, and this came from the Barclay, the mad scientist in the Barclay Jones clan, he said, look at clients who have a recurring revenue. Look at clients who maybe have a SaaS model or a cost per month model that may not be impacted by the C word. They are still recruiting. Contract clients, you need to protect your income. So again, focusing on that dig up stupid model, and rather than just drowning under the weight of your database that you've probably not kept clean and you're kicking yourself right now, what are you doing with clients that are contract, keeping them focused on you and getting those contractor agreements extended and protected? Really focus in on that. When you contact a client and a candidate, think about WIFMs, think about what's in it for them every single time. What are they going to get from your contact? Every single time, focus on that. Some other stats that I think are just as relevant now as they ever have been. 50% of buyers, and we include candidates in this because they're buying from you effectively. If you respond to them first or you call them first, you're more likely to deal with them in the future, even though it actually takes them a little while to come back to you. Leaving a voicemail is never a bad idea, but consistently, constantly following up is absolutely crucial. And change your messaging. Don't just send the same email, did you get this? But send them fun stuff that's just going to get them thinking, right, all right, let's have the call. You've got me in a good mood now. Simple stuff. Really get back to basics. And then the final C is colleagues. Now, recruiters working from home, we've already talked about this. They're probably not geared up for it. And Loom will really help them because it'll get their face in front of people. The marketing department need to be the glue that helps the managers lead those teams. But if you don't have a free system called Calendly, sign up now. It's gorgeous. It allows you to show your candidates and clients your diary. Be careful, this is how it looks. They're not going to see your whole diary. They're not going to see when you go for lunch or when you're taking the dog for a walk or when you're watching, I don't know, somebody I was speaking to the other day has decided to get massively back into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who knows. But what you can do is you can block book your diary to show only certain elements. And then when you send a link, which might be a Loom video of the client's website saying, I've seen some vacancies in this sector and I noticed that you've got a need for X, Y, and Z. I've got 5 candidates that I've spoken to this morning that I can send you their CVs over by the end of today. Click here, here's an access to my diary, and book a call with me. You can do the same with candidates. Candidates love the control of basically being the ones to click and book your diary. It's a bit of a conscious trick. Think about that. So Calendly is a great bit of kit. Again, a rough and ready list of things that I want you to think about. How are you staying glued to your desk? Are you working too long hours? I'm not going to give you all of the blogs that I've seen online right now about the obvious stuff like set up a routine, go and get some fresh air. You know, if you're finding working from home difficult, join the club. But at the same time, don't dwell on it. Get online, look for some self-help, and figure out how you're going to turn working from home into a really productive, useful part of your career. Because this is a permanent change, I think, in the market. As managers, how are you leading? Remember the scrum tactic I discussed with you earlier, and have daily scrums, but have weekly, almost like, and I'm not really into rugby, scrum is probably the only word I know, and ball. But think about maybe either on a Monday or a Friday, having that collective where you get everyone in a room with a gin and tonic. Why do you have to just, you know, why do pubs shutting have to affect how much alcohol we consume? Or if we're teetotal, how much we watch other people getting drunk? So think about that maybe on a Friday, of getting everyone together, just talking about the successes of the week and what they've got planned for the following week. Get those to-do lists done. Damn it, training is really important, people. I am getting quite vicious with people now who are not trained, because this is where training really matters. It's where you are super effective, super efficient at your jobs. But if you haven't been effectively trained, and I guarantee you have not, because I've worked in the industry long enough to know that training has never been at the top of most recruitment lists, because sales is more important, and I get that. But now is the time. Self-learning, figuring out what's available to you, grabbing everything you can, but being effective with that training and saying to yourself, this HIT mentality that we are now fully focused on has to be the way forward. How are you going to come out of this upturn more effective than when you went in? Data, people, process. What links all three of those together is training. Obviously, you could say to yourself, oh, those projects that I've been trying to get off the ground for ages, now's the time. I would say be careful with that statement, because just because you can doesn't mean you need to. Yeah, you really have to think about some of the projects that maybe you were trying to get off the ground. Maybe they're just not important anymore, because actually our perspective has changed. Again, marketing, what are you doing with your comms to glue the business together? Often what I find when I work with marketeers is that internal comms is like something we do when we've got a bit of time, as opposed to a strategy to keep the business from going insane. Think about that. Again, could you send out surveys? In the very least, if you came back as a dog, what would it be? Or who do you think that the managing director looks like most from the celebrity cohort? And do stuff like separated at birth, just to keep people focused on what they're going to do. Get planning for the future. Master your technology. Don't let it master you. Don't do this 80-20 rule of, well, I'll do it when I've got a bit of time. Focus every single day on improving yourself. Create that plan. Absolutely crucial from a colleague's perspective. Prior to the downturn, and who knows where these stats are going to go, 60% of your candidates didn't like working with you. Only 80% of the UK's placements were made by 8% of the sales force. That is not a good stat. That is very risky. So we need to, again, use this opportunity to change these stats. And attrition, don't even go there. Not good. Equally, before the C word, we were doing all the wrong stuff. We were genuinely doing all the wrong stuff. And meanwhile, 72% of the placements we were making were already on our systems going, pick me, pick me. Why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you contacting me? You've got the technology. Why is it that email you sent to me has got nothing to do with what it is I'm doing right now? And marketeers saying, why is it recruiters don't get me? And recruiters saying, why is it marketeers aren't getting you the right level of leads? So if recruitment is a time game, absolutely it's a time game. We've got more time maybe than at the moment than we'd like. We've got to use it well. You've got to ask yourself, how is your marketing department helping you? And you do have to ask this of yourself, because often when I work with marketeers, they are another C. They are the colouring in department. They're making things look pretty. And it's not because they want to, it's just how the job has changed over time, where it's brand and it's image and it's a bit of web. Whereas I'd say most of the recruitment marketers that I work with have got a lot more to offer than that. They are lead generators. They are candidate magnets. They are colleague gluers, if that's the right language to use. Don't quote me on that. They need, just like you, to focus on that final C, the cash, as well as the 3 C's prior. They need to work on that data pyramid with you, because that's actually the only asset you have right now. Little tactics. Think about daily LinkedIn persona-led updates, going into LinkedIn every single day and updating your status with something about your personas. Checking your notifications in LinkedIn. Again, apologies for the lack of imagery on this slide. Go up to that top right-hand corner, see what people are doing. Focus on their birthdays, focus on the awards they're winning, focus on the content that they're planning, focus on the jobs that they're changing. The awards industry is still very buoyant, albeit a bit weird. So the Recruiter Awards shortlist came out last week, and congrats to everyone that's been shortlisted. It's a great bit of news. But the awards within the sectors that you operate in are still happening. I've just had someone message me, someone who regularly is asked, can you jazz this up for me? I think, Callum, I thought you were offering to do that to my slide deck just now. If you've got a minute, Callum, because I'm sure you'd be great at that, she says, tongue in cheek. Look at your awards process, sales professionals and marketing professionals. What's happening in the next 6 months that's still going to be focused on the industries that you work in and the people that are delivering excellence. They're still going to be going for awards. Businesses that go for awards are profitable businesses by default. Look into that as a way of focusing on the data you need to focus on. When you're connecting with people, share content that's relevant to them, not just your own flipping profile. They don't care about you, they care about themselves. Think about how you are going to generate warm calls with your content. The thing that I really want you to stay focused on is whether or not we have what we feel is the best tech, the loveliest offices, the most amazing data. Ultimately, the coolest tool is the recruiter and the marketer, in brackets. What are you going to do in the next 3 to 4, or how many other weeks or months we're going to be in this zone? What are you going to do to stay focused? And how are sales and marketing going to work more effectively together? Not just to create a pretty website, for example, but a website that drags clients, colleagues, and candidates in, so you can then do something with them. What are marketing and sales going to do to keep clients offering jobs and interviewing? What are you going to do between the two of you to make sure that candidates don't lose their nerve and stay in the jobs that they are staying in, as opposed to applying for your jobs and going for interview? How are you going to use this time to clean up your tech, clean up your data, so when those lights go on and you're out of the pit, you come racing out of the paddock and straight in onto the track? What's your plan? So what is your action plan? Give me some ideas. Time to engage people. We're going to finish this webinar early. You could call a couple of candidates in that time. Go onto your chat and tell me what you're going to do differently, what you're going to do now as a result of this webinar. Give me 2 or 3 ideas. Someone's actually put here, this has given me an idea that I might not furlough my team for May. Any advice on this? I was planning on paying extra for training, but they cannot contact candidates on this. Oh, that's such a good question. Everybody's ears are pricking up. Lisa's going to give advice on furlough. She ain't actually. She hasn't got a flipping clue. I absolutely recommend, though, that you get in touch with APSCo, who can give you that information. But I would say this, I'm a small business owner as well, and this is a really tricky time because I don't qualify, because I'm a company director, for any of the stuff that's out there right now. Yes, I'll get the 10 grand grant. That's going to pay my rent for a couple of months. The loans that the government are offering, I'm not putting my house up against those loans, but I also want to keep my staff. So I'm having to make some tough decisions. I think ultimately you have to ask yourselves, what business do you want when you come out of this, and do you have the cash reserves to keep you going during that time? When it comes to HR and stuff, speak to Josie. She'll put you in touch with the right people. But great, really good. Everyone's thinking the same question. So I've got lists of things that you're all going to do differently. Training, please train your staff. There are no excuses, and there's plenty of stuff they can be getting on with potentially while they're on furlough. So there's something to be said for that. If they're not working for you, but they're upskilling, I kind of feel that you're allowed to do that, but do not quote me. Do not quote me. But the good recruiters out there, the ones that want to come back to work literally with their Iron Man suits on, or Supergirl or Wonder Woman suits on, they're going to be the ones taking this very, very seriously. So we've got training, we've got cleaning up your data. Again, I'm not going to come and grade how clean your database is, but if you let me, I'd look at the small pockets of data that you need and tell you whether or not that's going to make you money. That's the key to this. CRM first every single time. Regular is a terrible word, John. Daily. Daily LinkedIn updates about the personas that you want to stick to you like glue. Personalized e-shots. Absolutely. Get this stuff working. Brainstorm with the team on how we can advise clients and candidates, not on the phone, but also via LinkedIn. Get that video working. Use Loom, use Calendly. Someone said here, if you rotate your furloughed staff minimum 3 weeks, half in, half out. I'm not going to suggest that you do that because I don't know how legal that is. And the person who's put that advice, by the way, that sounds really good. Just make sure you are clued up enough before you do anything like that. But that does sound like a good idea. Someone said surveys, training, upskills on product knowledge. You know, you've got an opportunity to turn your recruiters into robocops here. Sorry to get all like, you know, action man on you, but flipping heck, you're never going to get this time back. Use it. Okay, lots of tips from today. I really hope the time you've spent with me today was useful. Please give feedback via the chat facility so we know whether or not to continue doing this. And then I'll spend a bit of time outside this webinar mailing you the stuff that you've asked for, whether it be tips on how to keep your kids from killing each other or you killing them, tips on how to make the perfect gin and tonic at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I'll send you links to our Adapt Hit training, and once the Bullhorn training is live, you can have that with my blessing. And also the job adverts training is a big bugbear of mine, that our approach to job adverts in this country is shocking, but actually you get it right, you fix a lot of problems in your business. Thank you so much for being so engaging today, everyone. I've actually lost my voice again. My kids are going to be clapping with glee when I go back downstairs. And let's make sure at least once a day you're looking at a picture of a whippet jumping over a fence and not climbing it like a stupid cockapoo. That's all I'll say. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely week.